This is Brian Ross Investigates. And good evening and welcome. Tonight, the other Epstein, a wealthy, powerful man accused of sex trafficking with underage girls, is now awaiting trial in a jail cell in Los Angeles. This accused sexual predator is a man of the cloth, the leader of a church that claims millions of members in the United States and around the world. His name is Nathan Joaquin Garcia, and his arrest has created turmoil among his followers, creating heartbreak and tearing families apart. Raquel Guerra was 14 years old and living in Texas when she was told by her church that she had to marry her boyfriend because they had had sex. They had fornicated, her pastor told her.
I kind of felt like there wasn't really a choice because you're kind of scared of actually going to hell because they really, really put that in your head.
And she says it became a marriage marked by physical abuse and heartbreak, with the church indifferent to her plight.
Maybe it's something that I'm doing to pray to God, maybe to change my ways, that maybe I'm provoking this in some way.
Her church is known as the Light of the World Church, claiming to have 5 million members around the world, with more than 1 million members in the United States, with churches in every one of the 50 states.
Good morning everyone, my name is Michelle, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video. It is Tuesday morning, the 16th of January, and yes, we've had a dose of the white stuff here in Lancashire, in the north of England. It's still snowing as well. Anyway, in this video, I want to talk about the Savanah Soto and Matthew Guerra case, kind of indirectly. It's really about the cult that Matthew's stepmother, is it his stepmother or his actual mother? Anyway, Raquel was born and raised in, and she's spoken out. She's spoken out a lot about this religion. To wipe my lens there. I'm assuming that the cops have checked out any possibility that the Preciados are involved in this church cult. I mean, it's an obvious thing to think, isn't it? You know, it's tenuous motive, you know, a weed deal. I'm assuming that the Preciados are not in this cult church thing, and that the murders of Savanah, Matthew and baby Fabian were not some kind of retaliation. I'm assuming that the cops will have checked all that out, but, you know, you've got to ask the question, don't you? Anyway, let's see what Raquel has been saying about this church. So I saw it a couple of days ago, but I've been doing videos on the river deaths in the UK. So I'm doing it now. All right, so I know this is not new news. So Raquel Guerra. As if what we're not dealing with is enough, I find that the cult, yes cult, I was born and raised in, makes a video about my son, daughter-in-law and grandson saying I deserve what happened to us. What kind of religion is that? It makes me sick to my stomach. Why do they do this? Why do they harass everyone that speaks up about the pedo leader, Nathan Joaquin Garcia? It's just disgusting. They should be ashamed of themselves. This so-called church, La Luz del Mundo, aka the Light of the World, does not practice love. It practices hatred. Go watch all the documentaries out there, Netflix, HBO, and soon in the US by the A&E channel. Also, where I publicly spoke up first on Brian Ross' Law and Crime channel. Stay away from this evil cult. Also, if you would like more information regarding this cult, head over to Reddit and search XLLDM and exposing LLDM. So, yes, first I'm hearing about this particular cult church. The few videos that I've watched so far, it sounds very much like the FLDS church. That an extremist minority take over a particular, you know, religion or sub-religion and use it for their own selfish, evil deeds and wrap it up all in like this nice, tidy bow of religion. And then you just can't get out. There's a channel, I can't remember what it's called. Now. On YouTube. A while ago, watched a lot of videos on it, and I can't for the life of me remember what the channel's called. Anyway, maybe the snow's gone to my brain a little bit. So Raquel says, for people wanting to know why the church cult, the light of the world, would make such an evil video about our children, this is why. So this is the evil video. It's in Spanish, so I can't understand it. I'll leave a link to Raquel's post in the description box, so if you're a Spanish speaker, then you can listen to it. Unforgivable, this incident should be in the news. So many people will be aware of this cult. They're desperately trying to stay relevant. They are so quick to judge us all, but they can't accept the fact that their leader is a confessed pedo. Cult of pedos, they throw the rock, then hide the hand. Raquel, don't pay attention to their BS. We know who you are. Take time to heal you and your family. Oh, it's just so sad. It's just so sad. Like the FLDS, if you try to leave, then you're cast out. This church is said to have 5 million followers worldwide, 1 million in the United States. Not every one of those is evil. Listen, the vast majority of those people are just normal, law-abiding citizens who just happen to worship this particular religion. It's the extremist element of it that's the problem. And this is their esteemed leader, who apparently is still leading the extremist side of this church from behind bars. So Nason Joaquim Garcia was sentenced to 16 years in prison. He took a deal. Okay, so let's listen to what the judge said.
In all of your minds, they saved countless young girls in this church from being abused by this man, by being brave enough to come forward, and now he's going to prison.
And honestly, listening to what these victims spoke up about at his sentencing is just heartbreaking.
Under the terms of his deal, Garcia pleaded to only 3 of the 36 counts he was originally charged with some 3 years ago. Judge Ronald Cohen was unsparing in his sentencing of the church leader.
And I've never ceased to be amazed at what some people do in the name of religion, and how lives are ruined in the guise of serving a supreme being. As to the Jane Does, at this point, I apologize, my hands are tied. Lawyers do what lawyers do, and at this point my hands are tied. But I further want to tell all the Jane Does that the world has heard you. I promise you that. As to those family members that have abandoned the Jane Does, shame. Shame on you. And as to the defendant, I say, you are a sexual predator. Defendant's levied a term in state prison of 16 years and 8 months.
It's fair to say that no one has worked harder to bring the apostle to justice than Soto Martin. Soto, now that he has pleaded guilty and been sentenced to prison, what is your reaction?
Well, Brian, my reaction and that of the reaction of the victims of Nason Joaquim, not only sexually were we violated by him, but we were also extorted, we were trafficked, and these young women, and I'm talking about the minors, in this particular situation, we're talking about children here. They were trafficked, they were sexually assaulted by Mr. Garcia, and they were violated by the entire organization. And still they made a deal with a sexual terrorist.
Yeah, so people are not happy that he was able to take a deal, and he pled out to only 3 charges and got 16 years. So, yet another abuser wrapped up in this air of authority with God on his side, abuses and terrorises young people and keeps for his own pleasure, and then people are brainwashed into blaming the victims. And yeah, even though I'd never heard of this church before, it's not a surprising story to me. This is what cults do. Cults dressed up as religions, this is what they do. These abusers find ways to get away with these things for years and years and years. And the law struggles to deal with it. And I sincerely hope that this cult and the members who are continuing to support this man leave Raquel alone and the rest of her family. And I sincerely hope that the cops have fully explored the potential that the Preciados have got something to do with this cult. I'm sure they have, but I'm just saying. I mean, I don't know. But it's certainly, this case has certainly exposed this evil cult to me. I wasn't aware of it. So I want to thank you, Raquel, because, you know, speaking out, like many other victims do about their abusers, is the only way to put a stop to this. It's the shining a light on these abusers is the only way to go. But the retaliation, the fear of retaliation is real in these cases. So thank you for speaking out to all of the victims worldwide who speak out against these cult leaders who take a religion and they twist it. They twist it so that they can get away with evil deeds. Satan's inside them. Satan's inside them. All right, guys, that's all I wanted to say. So, yeah, it's still snowing. Oh, actually, it's stopped now. Stopped for the moment. All right. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.